I would have used the carrot too. But we got to start using the stick, and that means you get excluded, socially ostracized. We have the right as a society to make that decision. If you want to keep your not getting the vaccine and stay at home, fucking fine. Lose your job. Get food delivery. Whatever. But you're not going to come into public spaces spreading a deadly disease. You do not have that right. We have the right to exclude you. No shoes, no shirt, no vaccine, no service. That's our right.
Let's maul in the Central Committee. Let's cringe in the Central Committee. Let's bog in the Central Committee right now.
And then chat.
Good. Yeah. Makes your job easy.
I want to show you something that is just so brain dead. I don't know what to say. Stupid fucking monkey fucking sound effect. I fucking hate this guy. Holy shit, the stupid fucking monkey sound effect. Holy shit.
The Joe Rogan experience.
And this is the same guy that just passed this fucking law in New York City where you have to have a vaccine passport to go everywhere. You have to have a vaccine to go to a restaurant, to a gym, to any place where people gather.
Good!
It is crazy. And
no, it's smart. It's smart. Every one of you has a cell phone in your fucking pocket. Every one of you carries a driver's license or an ID. And if you don't have those things, we should give those to you for free. And the vaccine passport should be given to everybody, no matter what their immigration status. Give the vaccine for free to anybody who's in this country. I don't care what the reason is. And there's people on the left who disagree with me. Okay, good. Whatever. I don't care. You're bad. You're dumb. You are dumb. But Mike, what about my personal liberty? Okay. Fuck off.
Meanwhile, the the biggest percentage of people that don't have vaccines or have been vaccinated are people of color. So this guy, people of color and immigrants, this is what he's always supposed to be pro people of color, pro diversity, pro immigration. Those are the people that don't have vaccines, and now you're precluding them from going to gyms and restaurants. And what about the people working in the restaurants? What about all these? It's
obvious. Let me just say this. Yeah, Joe Rogan really cares about the working class, poor person of color. That's also not even true. You have to create a very selective filter in order for this to be true. It is true that poorer communities have lower vaccination rates for a variety of reasons. But the solution to that problem is to go to those communities and give the vaccines, for example, door to door. A solution to that will be to have vaccines at every single place where the government interacts with people. You go to the DMV, there should be a vaccine right there. Oh, you don't have the vaccine? Stand in the vaccine line right now. Get the vaccine. We should have mobile vaccination locations all over the place. They should be pop-up vaccination locations. We should be doing mobile vaccinations. We should make vaccinations go door to door. We should make vaccinations so fucking easy to get and so in your face until it's done. But that's called a solution.
Fucking madness. And then you have a bunch of people that are supporting it. Like, yay, finally. Meanwhile, you have science coming out. There's legitimate articles. Jamie, I'll send this to you now. There's legitimate because doctors have been sending me these things. And, this is neither pro nor con vaccine. This is not a judgment statement. But imperfect vaccination can enhance the transmission of highly virulent pathogens.
Right.
So this is a scientific paper from 2015 that shows that here's what an important quote: vaccines that keep the host alive but still allow transmission can thus allow virulent strains to circulate in a population. So vaccines that don't kill the virus, vaccines that allow people, like this is one of the things we're finding out about what they're calling breakthrough cases.
Right.
So people who are vaccinated can still get COVID.
So, Chad, I got to stop it right here because this was not a paper. I don't know if you saw the paper when it popped up, but the paper was on chickens and Merrick's disease. Not a thing about COVID. Not a thing about human-borne pathogens, but rather an idea in the animal husbandry factory farm world of, hey, we've got a million chickens packed in the same room. You know, giving them all these vaccines may actually help evolve more virulent strains. Versus human beings in the COVID pandemic should not get the vaccine because that's going to make COVID worse, which is the opposite of what every piece of evidence we have explains. I'm going to fucking lose it.
Allow people, like this is one of the things we're finding out about what they're calling breakthrough cases.
Right.
So people who are vaccinated can still get COVID and they can still transmit COVID. This recently happened at the Comedy Store. A vaccinated comedian gave COVID to like 12 different fucking people at the Comedy Store. Some of them vaccinated, some of them not. That situation where the vaccine just kind of protects you from serious damage,
Right.
but it protects you from really being like badly hospitalized or death, but doesn't stop you from getting the virus, can possibly lead to more potent viruses. So these people that
He's dumb as fuck. He's dumb as fuck. Because you know who gets the virus more easily? Non-vaccinated people. You know where the virus is going to spread more easily? Non-vaccinated people. You know where the virus is going to last longer in the bodies of? Non-vaccinated people. Everything he's saying about vaccinated people applies doubly, triply, quadruply to the unvaccinated. I'm gonna die. Mentally, I'm gonna die. My brain cannot handle the stupidity. My brain cannot handle the stupidity.
that are saying,
My Scottish
it's these
Rouge.
unvaccinated people that are responsible for the variants. Well, there's actually scientific papers that point to the very sort of environment that we're creating by having so many people vaccinated with a vaccine that doesn't kill off
Right.
the virus. It actually can lead to more potent viruses.
No. The vaccine, the Delta variant, for example, the one that we're talking about now, the big one that's causing breakthrough cases, evolved in India, where the population was not vaccinated. The more virulent Delta strain came from India, where the vaccination rate is low because it's a poorer country. So, what are you talking about?
Try finding that story anywhere.
What would
Other than
compel a layman
doctors-
to make these kinds of inferences without an expert person on the show? He's a fucking dumbass. That's what.
I'm getting
Yeah.
PhDs sending me these things. Guys who won't speak about it publicly because they're worried about
Right.
the blowback. People who are physicians, people who
Wow,
are...
so totally unverified and people that won't say shit publicly because they know it's not scientifically valid.
or even epidemiologists, even people that deal with diseases and viruses, they're concerned. And they don't want to talk about it publicly because people call them anti-vaxxers.
Oh, yeah.
It's really wild out there.
Oh, it's wild because they've somehow managed, and when I say they, meaning the political elite and then I think their established media representatives, have somehow managed to turn this into a political issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's dangerous.
All right, chat, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to tell you something. Everything is political. Everything is political. The vaccine is political. The administration of it is political. And yes, the mandates, those are political. For these anti-politics dipshit chud morons, when they say something is political, they mean something that I disagree with. If I disagree with it, it's political. If I agree with it, it's not political. You know who nearly has a PhD? My friend who's studying communications, doing his dissertation on the weaponization of sexuality in Japanese anime. He is not a source for COVID info. Your friend is getting a doctorate in hentai? Marine Creates, your friend is getting a doctorate in hentai? He's the doctor of hentai? How do you defend that dissertation? That is the most... that is so uncool and cringe that it wraps around into being Sigma cool. I can't think of a better example of Sigma grind set than being the doctor of hentai. Oh, you're a doctor. You have a PhD. You contributed to the panoply of human knowledge. You're a part of the academy. Well, what was your dissertation on? My dissertation was on how big tits can be in Japanese cartoons. Humanity is incredible. Humanity is incredible. Humanity is incredible. I can feel my mind expanding from all these high-level ideas.
Dangerous. Like it's dangerous for any politician to play in that game where they're using something.
The weed smoke is literally obscuring the camera.
Meaningful and quite possibly dangerous for the country as political posturing or virtue signaling, right? And you see it all the time because you see these guys are wearing their masks for the camera, but then they take them off.
AOC just got busted doing that yesterday. You see the video?
Yeah,
she
of course.
Had no mask on, hanging out with everybody, and then they go to take a picture.
Yeah.
She puts the mask on and then takes it off after the picture's done.
Yeah, or they can have parties, you know, what is it?
How about Obama?
Yeah, Obama's having that 700 guest party or whatever it is.
He's going to tone it down to 600.
Yeah.
Because of the pandemic. He's going to make it a little lighter.
But
this is not an argument against the policy, by the way. Just because people do hypocritical things or they take the mask off, and I'm sure they're really telling the truth about AOC. Doesn't mean that it's wrong. That's not how logic works. Just because people don't follow the rules, that doesn't mean the rules are wrong. You fucking dumbass. And yes, people are tired of wearing masks. I'm tired of wearing a mask. That's why I got mine. That's why I got my vaccine. That's why I did it.
Go to a gym in New York.
Right.
Unless you have a vaccination card.
Right.
Or you can't go out to eat. We're going to shut down small businesses. You can't go to a comedy club.
Good.
And I think
get the vaccine, then you can. What's the problem here?
It's rules for thee and not for me.
His master's is in film studies, transhumanisms, and the work of Mari Oshii, Ghost in the Shell, etc. He's the biggest brain of cringe. I actually kind of appreciate your friend. Like, normally I'm like weebs out and, you know, blah, 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 but I would want to hang out with your friend because I feel like I would learn something, you know? I feel like I would have my mind expanded.
Scenario, and people read right through that shit. Because some people
Jesus Christ, the weed smoke is obscuring the whole camera.
Smart people that are
Here, chat. I'm about to say some really high level ideas to 12 million people. Let the weed smoke fill the fucking entire screen.
applauding it. It's so strange. And the problem with applauding vaccine passports, this is part of the problem. They are not going to give that power up.
No.
They're not going to.
Slippery slope fallacy. We're in a pandemic. We're in a motherfucking pandemic. When we no longer have a pandemic, they won't need vaccine passports anymore. And if people are arguing for measures for pandemics that don't exist, I will stand with you opposing that measure. This is like somebody saying, I don't know about that Abraham Lincoln. He wants to arrest some Confederate traitors in Maryland. I'm not sure that's constitutional, When this rebellion's over, he's not going to give those powers back. What?
find a reason to continue to use that. If they can figure out a way to force you into carrying papers, into carrying something that lets you enter businesses or lets you do this or lets businesses open, as soon as you give politicians power, in any kind of power that didn't exist previously, historically, they don't relinquish that power. They find new reasons to use it.
Well, I think that's
that's
the
not
history.
even close to true. For example, in World War II, we completely controlled the economy. We had a command economy where people were given ration stamps when they went to the store to buy food. You had to have a ration stamp. All these companies' production was put toward the war effort and controlled by government boards. And then guess what happened? The war ended and they got rid of that power. What do you know?
Of lawmaking and political power in the United States. And I think that's
Rough
why
Verity, thank you for the tier 1.
I tend to be bucketed in conservatives because it means smaller government to me, right? There's
what? Smaller government, except I don't know, what a woman wants an abortion, or someone's a transgender, or they want a school board wants to teach kids fucking history, or for example, a local community wants to have, I don't know, say municipal broadband, or a million other means by which, or I'll give you another example here from Pennsylvania. Your local community wants to regulate fracking. Oh, no. You guys want to let you regulate fracking in your fucking community? Hell no. We're going to preempt local control. Or your local community wants to write gun control. Oh, suddenly the big government wants to come in and limit what your local government can do. There was literally a papers, please law in Arizona for everybody for immigration status. These guys supported state government sending police after everybody that looked suspiciously Mexican had to produce their immigration papers. Donald Trump literally arrested American citizens with ICE.
Multiple reasons why people classify themselves as that. But I look at things and I look at the preservation of individual liberty. How do I preserve more of my freedom? Because I feel like I'm a responsible adult and I feel like I'm going to raise responsible adults and I feel like I spend most of my time around responsible adults. It's such a disconnect in individual philosophy when I find people that are actively looking for ways that they can forfeit their individual liberty and hand it over to somebody where they feel like they have a better interest in running their life than they do.
Right.
And I understand the balance between, we have to have certain laws and regulations that protect people against, overt dangers. But I also understand your statement where I think politicians and I would say lawmakers and government bureaucrats have a really hard time relinquishing control once they have it because
it makes their job
feels
easier.
Good. Yeah,
makes their job easier. They can just tell you to shut the fuck up, do what I say, and you have to. You can't work anymore unless you do what I say. That's essentially what a vaccine passport is.
Right.
You can't do what you want to do unless you do what I want you to do. I mean, Don Lemon was talking about that openly on CNN.
Yeah.
Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to the supermarket. Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to work.
It's so strange that people want to say things like that. Like, that's the thing that blows me away. Why do people want to?
Because they're dumb.
They're dumb.
They're dumb. They don't understand history. They don't understand human beings. They don't understand human nature.
Sorry, Chad. It's a cigar. It's a cigar. The guy smoking a cigar is telling us how dumb we are about health. The guy smoking the cigar, he's informing us that he has a more sophisticated view of the health risks. No, it's a glizzy? Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay. So it is weed smoke. But still, glizzies are bad for you. Don't have a 28-inch walkway, can't open a business. Don't have a permit to run a 100,000 PSI air compressor, then you don't get one. Not nice, Lord. You're talking about actual business, things that businesses have to do. Oh, you want to sell alcohol? Need a liquor license. People aren't dumb. We don't want to exclude people from work or the grocery store. We want you to get the vaccine. And we've tried the persuasion of like it being free and telling you to get it, right? But that's not working. And the pandemic is still here. So if we want the pandemic to end, then we got to force people to get it. And we have to start using the stick. I want to use the carrot too. But we got to start using the stick. And that means you get excluded, socially ostracized. We have the right as a society to make that decision. If you want to keep your not getting the vaccine and stay at home, fucking fine. Lose your job. Get food delivery. Whatever. But you're not going to come into public spaces spreading a deadly disease. You do not have that right. We have the right to exclude you. No shoes, no shirt, no vaccine, no service. That's our right.
Nature. They don't understand the history of every single country that's ever existed other than the United States. Up until 1776, every fucking country that has ever existed was run by dictators.
Right.
All of them. This is the first one.
That's not true. That's absolutely not even close to true. Why is this monkey talking about history? This actual ape. Joe Rogan is the dumbest ape on the planet. Excuse me, chat. Chimpanzees are not monkeys. I want to correct myself. I want to apologize. He is a chimp. Do you know why it's called democracy, chat? Cracy, so that is Greek for rule by the people. Demos means people. They had democracies in Athens. In democracies, they had a really based idea. I saw a clip about ostracism in ancient Greece. And it was so fucking based.
Athens' rise to economic and political supremacy occurred at lightning speed. After the Battle of Salamis, she became the dominant power in the Eastern Mediterranean in less than a generation.
Don't insult chimps. Good point. And of course, there was indigenous democracies as well. Thank you for pointing that out.
Democracy. A system of voting using pebbles, olive leaves, or the show of hands that decided every aspect of the city's government.
Democracy gave the Athenians a great advantage of unleashing talents, powers, opportunities that other cultures simply cannot match.
The Athenians keenly protected their democracy from any threat, foreign or domestic. Once a year, each citizen could scratch the name of an individual onto a shard of pottery, known as an ostraca, and place it into a pot in the assembly. The person whose name came up most would then be ostracized, banished from the city. This was the Athenians' method of protecting their government, expelling any person they felt might become too powerful. But Athenian democracy could turn on any citizen, even its greatest war hero. Themistocles now found himself under attack.
The threat was gone now. His raison d'etre has been taken away. This is something he can't understand. Themistocles reacts, perhaps in an uncharacteristically crude way. He reminded the Athenian voters of what they owed him. Voters don't want to be reminded in any period of what they owe to their politicians. They want to be told what their politicians can do for them.
The Athenian people turned on the aging politician. Calculated, cruel, but deeply democratic. They ostracized the man who had led them to their greatest victory.
There's a story, chat, about this. Is a poor man walked up to Themistocles himself and said, "Hey, do you know how to write?" And Themistocles said, "Yes, I can. How can I help you?" He said, "Could you please write Themistocles on the shard?" And Themistocles went, "Wait, well, why do you want to ostracize Themistocles?" And he said, "I'm so tired of hearing him be called the Just," because that was his title, Themistocles the Just. So Themistocles wrote his own name on the shard of pottery.
Themistocles was ostracized, I believe, because he was simply regarded as having gotten too big for his boots.
Maybe
some of the ostraca with Themistocles' name still inscribed upon them have been found, hidden down an ancient well.
This is so badass.
Archaeologists believe that these had been pre-prepared by Themistocles' enemies.
Even more badass.
To be handed out to Athenian voters who couldn't write.
They were vote dumps,
Themistocles never recovered from this humiliation. He was to spend the rest of his years wandering from state to state, finally dying in exile in Persia, the country whose defeat had been his greatest triumph.
So, and then of course we have the ancient republics of San Marino and Venice, etc. The idea that we've always been ruled by dictatorships is just not true. Also, humans in ancient hunter-gatherer societies were communists. They were stateless.
Human beings, they don't understand human nature. They don't understand the history of every single country that's ever existed other than the United States. Up until 1776, every fucking country that has ever existed was run by dictators.
Right.
All of them. This is the first one where you had elected officials. This is the first experiment in self-government that actually worked.
Thank you,
and
Walter.
it created the greatest superpower the world's ever known. It created the greatest cultural machine, the greatest machine of art and creativity and innovation right fucking here.
This is your mind on NA education. This is the education that Ben Shapiro wants you to have, Chad.
How did it do that? It did it through freedom. Because when you give people freedom, you let people do whatever the fuck they want to do, they actually find ways to succeed and grow and thrive. But as soon as you put the boots to them, as soon as you tell them, you have to do this.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? What?
You can't do that. You have to listen to me. Now you have a mini dictator. You have one step away from a king. You have a one step closer. You're moving one step closer to dictatorship. That's what the fuck is happening. That's what's going to happen with a vaccine passport. That's what's going to happen if they close borders. You can't enter New York City unless you have your papers. You can't go to here.
What do you mean? The conservatives want to put a fucking wall. They want to destroy America's environment, kill endangered species, block migration routes, build a wall for thousands of miles in the south of the United States, destroying endangered fucking species and protected fucking habitats, destroy 400-year-old Joshua trees so they can put a fucking wall at the border and have a goddamn Gestapo called ICE roaming around the fucking country, checking people's papers. What are you talking about?
Unless you have that, you can't get on a plane unless you do what I say. And people say, whoa, it's all about protecting people from the... No, it's not. It's not, because we've shown this is a fact.
Guess what? The pilots and the flight attendants don't want to get your fucking sickness. They're not going to fly the plane if you get on it without a vaccine. What, are you going to put a gun to their head and say, hey, pilots and flight attendants, you gotta fly me. The pilots and flight attendants say, fuck you. I don't want to. Now what, Joe? Fly yourself, buddy.
Just a couple of months ago, the idea of a breakthrough case was unheard of. Nobody heard of anybody.
Because it's called a mutation because of dipshits that listen to your show not getting the fucking vaccine. You dummy. Now we have mutations. Now we have variants. Great job, idiot.
Catching COVID that had a vaccine, right? That was the whole idea. You get a vaccine, you don't have to worry about it. Now we know.
The point of the vaccine was to stop serious illness and death. That was always the vaccine. And yes, you get less likely to get infected. You are less likely to get infected if you have the vaccine. But the purpose of the vaccine is to prevent you from getting sick or die.
So not only do you get it, but you can spread it. And some people have died. Apparently, it's a small number. I don't know what the numbers are, but I know that most people who get vaccinated, when they do have the disease, they have a better time of it than the people who are unvaccinated. But where are the people out there calling for people to get healthy? Where are the people out there calling for people to lose weight? 78% of the people in the ICU for COVID are obese. 78%.
That's because Americans are fucking obese and overweight. That's just a representation of America. All right, Chad, I got to interrupt the idiot for some info.
Everybody thinks it's not going to be me. I'm really healthy. It's just not going to be me. Unfortunately, the Delta variant has proved us wrong. This year's virus holds on more tightly, infects you more deeply, and is making young people sick. Today, 11 children are admitted to our children's hospital, children who were healthy before they came in the doors. We never saw that last year. Today, we have 10 20-year-olds admitted to the adult hospital, 2 of them on a breathing machine. We never saw that last year. That's you. Those are people who look and act just like you. They were living their normal lives 2 weeks ago. This Delta variant is going to affect us all very differently. We all need protection for ourselves because more of our age group will become severely ill. And most importantly, because when you get vaccinated, you spread it less. And when you spread it less, you end the surge. Unvaccinated people are the reason for variants. Mutants occur because of uncontrolled spread. When you get vaccinated, not only are you healthier, but you decrease the spread. The only way to keep the next variant from coming out is vaccination, which decreases the spread of the virus. There are so many people who have said that this vaccine's too new, that they don't want to take it because it got developed so quickly. It's really interesting as a scientist to hear that because nothing that we do is quick. We all gave each other high fives and couldn't believe the success of a person's lifetime of work with mRNA vaccines, ready just in time for the pandemic. When I think about preparing all those years with mRNA vaccines, which are 15 to 20 years in the making, and a person's lifetime of research just in time for this, I think about our team. I think about elite athletes who work their whole lives to get to the national championship and play the best game of their lives. And for those of us who are the average sports fan, we actually think that
this is how you have to talk to chuds. This is literally how you have to talk to chuds. You have to be like, it's like practicing for football. You had to practice for a long time before you can go into the LSU national champions. Go Tigers.
that it was just that season's practice that got him there. Absolutely not. It was the first person who put a ball in their hand when they were 3 years old. They have been practicing and working every single day, not just that season. And that's what this COVID-19 vaccine is. We have been working for decades to make sure that when we had a pandemic, we took it out of our back pocket and we said, we're ready. We should be proud of this. We were ready. We should be proud of our athletes. They're ready. We should be proud of you. You have been waiting your entire life to contribute to your community. And today's the day.
Sorry, Giant Squid Cookie. Guess who isn't putting a ball in their son's hand? Dick Farrell. Yeah. That's such a good video, chat. Patton Oswalt shared that. That's where I saw it. And just why are chuds the way they are? Why are chuds the way they are?
8%. Where's that information being shared? Where's someone who's a leader who gets on TV and says, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to decrease our body mass.
Twitter,
we've got to decrease our
AOC.
fat. We've got to make sure that people aren't overweight. We've got to make...
You know what makes you more protected against COVID than losing such huge lifestyle changes and body changes that takes months? Getting a vaccine. Taking 10 minutes and getting a vaccine.
Make sure that people are healthy. Walk around your block. You don't have to do something complicated. Start drinking more water. Stop eating sugar. Start taking vitamins. You can increase the strength of your immune system. We can fight things off better. We can be a healthy...
That is actually... The one thing I will say about this is apparently vitamin D is important for your immune system. So I've, as a very white person who streams from home for work, I'm taking vitamin D. I'm taking vitamins myself. I've been drinking water. That was some of the lifestyle changes that I made last year. They've been pretty good, you know? Pretty good.
Doesn't even prevent you from getting the disease, or you can't go to the sauna or wherever the fuck you want to go. You can't go to the Broadway show. It's madness.
It's madness.
It really is madness, because if it was a vaccine that is like a... Like, here's a it's more of a treatment than it is a vaccine.
Bro,
really,
thank you for the tier 1.
Because you're saying you need a booster now every 6 months. Look, if you get vaccinated for
Mondar, thanks for the
polio,
300
you
bits.
get vaccinated for the measles, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
By the way, chat, just so you know, Joe Biden extended the Obamacare open enrollment to August 15th of this month. If you don't have health insurance right now, you can still enroll and get health insurance, and they've significantly upped the subsidy, so you may be able to get it for free. Absolutely free due to the COVID relief bill. So if you don't have health insurance right now because you couldn't afford it before, I would go back and take a look this week to see if you could get free health insurance. But it's ending this week, so make sure you get in, before it gets cut off. So we just watched a video from LSU where the doctor explained they've been working on these vaccines for 20 years. And it was a stroke of luck that we had the technology being developed. Great Menorah, thanks for the tier 1 sub. These fucking idiots, man. Oh my God.
Won't try on skepticism.
Tone,
in
please,
general.
thanks for the 5 tier 1
They
subs.
need to be more skeptical. They need to push people in authority and power and hold them accountable for their words and their actions.
I want to lose my mind, man.
And there's this reluctancy, I think, across the board to question power either on both sides, right? So it's like the blue likes to question red likes to question blue. But now you'll follow lockstep in party line if one is saying something or the other. That's a fucking problem. To your point, I was reading the history of the Nez Perce Indian tribe, and I've read a few books on this just recently. I'm from northern Idaho, where the Nez Perce Indian tribe,
ferocious people, amazing
warriors.
Amazing.
Chief Joseph was an incredible leader, incredible history. But it struck me there's one chapter in the books that I was reading about how the U.S. cavalry, they were putting the Native Americans on reservations for their protection. And I'm not trying to equate this in direct correlation, but this was part of the narrative.
Yeah.
White people want to be oppressed so bad. White people want to be oppressed so fucking bad. Listen, they're not letting me go to Chick-fil-A without a vaccine. It's just like the reservations. It's just like when we used to give smallpox blankets intentionally to the natives. Them giving me an absolutely free vaccine at my convenience to prevent me from getting sick is just like when we use force to remove people from their land and put them in a reservation where we systematically underfed them and then intentionally gave them smallpox infected blankets. It's the same thing. White people, stop.
The settlers and from retaliation. So we want to put you guys on this, 400 square reservation, 400 mile square reservation for your protection.
Now we're at 75%.
We want to be free. I don't know what you're talking about. And they go in and they trace the over 1,000 miles that Chief Joseph led his
fuck is he
his
talking
tribe
about?
through Idaho and Montana, and then up close to the Canadian border. But I couldn't help but think about there's one sliver of history in the late 1800s, which in 1873, I believe it was, which was also connected to the son of Meriwether Lewis, was also part of the Nez Perce Indian tribe because he had a son there. But I thought about how us as a country, how we need to be pushed to ask more questions and we deserve more answers. And we have to hold skepticism, I think, in a very high regard. And we can't beat it down. I think anytime that you question
and the level
authority,
3 hype train chat. Thank you very much.
Especially as a society, because it also says that you have a healthy society.
Thank you for the gifted sub just after the hype train ended.
Moving
Appreciate
up
that,
from
brother.
underneath, I think the groundswell of information from people, you can have these complex discussions, but you also have to have very good answers to what's going on. I think you've got conflicting information that's being politicized and it's being gaslit by both sides of the media, which I don't...
I honest to God, I don't know how we handle these type of people. Americans have been brainwashed into this both sides anti-politics shit. And they think it's reasoning. They just repeat the same garbage, which means nothing, which is just trash. This kind of pathological both sidesism, pathological neutrality, where both sides are doing something, both sides are politicizing it. Well, because one side is fucking psycho and stupid, and the other side is genuinely trying to listen to the experts on health and deliver an outcome so that we end the pandemic. That people are not going to like me say this, but there is such a thing as expertise on some things. Does that mean the scientists are always right? No. But in this case, we are very confident with the knowledge that we have that these vaccines work. And if we're going to get out of this pandemic anytime in the rest of our fucking lives, we've got to get you to take these goddamn vaccines. What do you mean, Mike? I always get my virology advice from makers of shitty coffee.
Blame people for...
His shirt says Caffeinate Mars, the Black Rifle Coffee Company. This is about to make me go on a tangent, chat.
Being pissed off and confused, because confusing as shit. The CDC releases something, the president will say something else, some random governor somewhere that I've never heard of will say something else, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
What is going on?
Yeah, that's why I listen to Crystal and Sagar, because they typically know what's going on.
Well, they typically know what's going on, and they're a great example because that show Breaking Points, you got Sagar, who's on the right, and Crystal, who's on the left, but they're good friends.
They're good.
They get along well, and they're both super honest and objective, rational and intelligent, and they can discuss all the finer points of these issues, honestly, openly. Mm-hmm. And it's why they're thriving.
Yeah.
It's why CNN, like some of their shows, some of their shows
admittedly
they get
funky.
100,000 views
subs.
in the key demographic. Less than 100,000 even. That's crazy. Since Trump is out of office and they don't have a boogeyman, their boogeyman is unvaccinated people. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. Their boogeyman is different things that they can attack. Watch the entire episode for free only on Spotify.
So what I don't understand about the brains of these people is this: has Joe gotten the vaccine? I can't remember. Has Joe said he's gotten it or not gotten it yet? He flaws logic with Sagar. Is that Sagar isn't MAGA? He's more of a Republican conservative, aka Joe. No, okay, first of all, Nubulator. No, Sagar is a Republican. He's just a Republican opportunist. That's it. Is Joe interviewing? I don't even know this guy's name. Evan Hafer. Evan Hafer's net worth should be at least 100K. He's the CEO of the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Was that an extended shill? The Black Rifle Coffee Company was MAGA royalty until it turned on Kyle Rittenhouse. A pro-military, pro-cop coffee company declined to sponsor the teenager accused of murder, and then all hell broke loose. Kyle Rittenhouse drinks the best coffee in America at Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee says, we did not sponsor, nor do we have a relationship with the 17-year-old facing charges in Kenosha, Wisconsin. The far right thought it had found the ideal breakfast beverage company that took a long sip of Black Rifle Coffee and checked the news. For years, Black Rifle Coffee Company has been the vanguard of an emerging conservative coffee movement. Consumers can start their day with thin blue line Keurig cup and wind down with a nice mug of compact coca. Okay, this is the most virtue signaling shit. I'm sorry, I can't start my day until I get my thin blue line Keurig cup. What? What? I'm sorry, I gotta get my combat coca. My combat coca is how I relax after a hard day. I need tactical. This isn't coffee for wimps and civilians, the company's branding implies. It's tactical caffeination for operators. This isn't your average stream, okay? This is a tactical stream for operators, okay? You want to show you're an operator, you need to get that Central Committee subscription. The Tier 1, okay, you are a National Guard troop. All right, you're a Tier 1 sub. Tier 2, you are an active duty infantryman, if you're a Tier 2 sub. And if you're a Tier 3 sub, well, you're Special Forces. You can be any Special Force you want. You want to be a Green Beret, you can be a Green Beret. You want to be a Navy SEAL, you can be a Navy SEAL. You want to be an Army Ranger, you can be an Army Ranger. You tell me what you want to be. You want to be a combat control? You want to wear that red beret? You can wear that red beret as long as you Tier 3 at the Central Committee strength. But not even that branding has been enough to save BRCC from attacks from its former far-right fans who accuse the company of being, far-right former fans who accused the company of being inadequately militant because it declined to sponsor a teenager accused of murdering Black Lives Matter protesters. Shortly after supporters posted Rittenhouse's $2 million bail, the host of a conservative podcast that partners with BRCC tweeted a picture of Rittenhouse in a BRCC shirt. The picture, plus its caption, "Kyle Rittenhouse drinks the best coffee in America," led viewers to believe that BRCC was partnering with Rittenhouse. That wasn't the case, and BRCC clarified this weekend. In a video, the company CEO, Ervin Hafer, stated that BRCC had not and would not sponsor Rittenhouse. "We're not in the business of profiting from tragedy. We're not in the business of profiting from this event. We have serial interest in collecting $1 from any of this. It is ethically inappropriate for us to do so or even give the perception of profiting." That would be an uncontroversial statement from virtually any other CEO, but apparently from a leader in the world of conservative coffee, Hafer's statement prompted a hyper-caffeinated meltdown from portions of the right, which castigated BRCC as traitors. Far-right internet personalities like blogger Cassandra Fairbanks, formally disavowed BRCC in doing so, taking a break from accusing the left of being censorious. "Civilians are just cash cows to you, so you and your veteran buddies can get rich," one prominent white supremacist account railed at Hafer. The Proud Boys, a far-right military group that has championed Rittenhouse, accused BRCC of trying to market to genderless college students and Photoshop the BRCC logo to look like it supported Black Lives Matter, which in Proud Boys parlance is intended as an insult. On Parler, a social media platform popular among the far right, supposed ex-BRCC fans flooded the company's page with insults. "Boycott these liberals and every brand associated with them. Turns out Black Rifle Coffee is deep state," another former fan wrote on BRCC's Parler page. "My husband is pissed. He said his election was stolen away by the Democrats and then his coffee. Just change your name to LGBTQ Snowflake Coffee. Never will we drink your coffee." Parler users became so incensed that they started searching the Federal Election Commission site for Hafer's political contributions, which revealed that he donated $500 to Rep. Tulsi Gabbard. The accusations were a stunning reversal of fortune for BRCC, which for years has positioned itself as the go-to coffee for conservative gun fans. I want people who voted for Trump to know that there is another option for you. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz doesn't want your business. I do. I'll be proud to take it. When Starbucks announced a plan to hire 10,000 refugees in 2017, BRCC shared a meme that photoshopped Starbucks cups onto ISIS fighters. Starbucks vows to hire 10,000 refugees, the meme read, followed by a picture of U.S. troops with the caption, Black Rifle Coffee Company vows to hire 10,000 veterans. Okay, dude, no. Dude, you have like 5 employees, man. Like, come on. Or 80 or whatever it is, 10. Come on, man. BRCC might have been the most popular conservative aligned coffee brand, but it wasn't the only one. Other right-wing coffee companies, including those with similar military branding, launched around the same time, many of them in response to the perceived liberalism of brands like Starbucks. What is a conservative coffee company like? We promise that our employees are mistreated and exploited to the maximum degree. Every bean covered with the sweat and blood of a impoverished worker. Like what? Like what's the special? What makes you conservative coffee? At least 2 conservative coffee shops opened this February alone. One, Kafifi Coffee and Gifts in Maine, sells brews named after Trump. The other, Conservative Grounds in Florida, includes a makeshift Oval Office with cardboard cutouts of Donald and Melania Trump. Conservative Grounds owner told the Washington Post that the shop was a place for conservatives to feel welcome. And noted that the store has a sign leading out to dumpsters with a label called Liberal Safe Space, Enter Here. A third right-wing coffee brand is now gunning for BRCC's customers, promoting stickers that advocate throwing communists to their deaths from helicopters and patches mocking the corpse of a man Rittenhouse killed. The brand earned an endorsement from the Proud Boys after it released a statement lauding Rittenhouse on Sunday. When a Twitter user accused the company of revealing fascist views, the brand account replied, "We were never in hiding, sweet cheeks." We do politics here every morning starting at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. You can watch us here on Twitch. We're the morning guy. The morning politics guy. Politics Frogs in every single day, same time, 10 a.m., day in, day out. And we carry you through your morning and early afternoon politics needs. And if you need more, Mike from PA, we have a YouTube channel. We talked about suburbs, the My Pillow guy, Ted Cruz. We talked about DSA. Amazing. Making fun of Tim Pool. Amazing. Look at all of these amazing videos. Get in there, watch them. We have me on Twitter. You got to follow me on Twitter, chat. I'm at 20,614 subs. That means I got like 40 followers on Twitter in the last day. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Go follow us on Twitter. And of course, join the Discord, where we have an incredible community of left-wing streamers. We have left-wing community. We talk about the stream. We talk about politics. There's gaming content. It's a really awesome, supportive place. Direct action, mutual aid. And you can just let off some steam. And also, you can help produce the show. One of the things I do is I look at the links that are put into the news content suggestions chat room on the Discord. Join the Discord. Come hang out. And maybe what you want me to talk about will be part of the next show.